One of the common concerns that students have is about finances for more education. So this discussion is called opportunity costs, meaning that opportunity often costs you money. But what I'd like to focus on is actually that opportunity sometimes pays you back. So what I'm doing here is I just have a spreadsheet with a year of after high school graduation in the left column, and then an estimate for the age that you would be at that year. And then what I'm going to put here, and I have that age going down to the age 65. I'm just assuming that's kind of an average age for retirement. So let's put in an estimate for a high school, someone with a high school diploma, and what their starting salary would be. And let's say maybe they start around $50,000. Now each year we're going to increment that by this raise here. We're just going to do a set raise for everybody of 3%. So this next year that person is going to make that times 1 plus whatever this raise is. And we'll just copy that down all the way to the bottom. So by the time they're 65, they're making about $200,000 a year. Now let's look at the bachelor's degree. The bachelor's, he doesn't make anything for the first 4 years, let's say. And then he's going to start off, let's say, at $65,000. And then at that point, we're going to use that same equation and increment his salary by 3% until he's 65. The master's degree not only does the bachelor's degree of 4 years, but then let's say takes 2 years to do a master's degree and starts off at somewhere around, let's say, 80,000. Now I'm not just pulling these numbers out of my head. These are really accurate, at least from what I've seen, of about what you can expect for each of these degrees. And I may have been a little bit generous with the high school diploma, 50,000, probably between 40 and 50. But then for bachelor's, master's, and PhD, it's usually about a $15,000 bump. So we'll copy his salary down for a master's, and then the PhD did the bachelor's for 4 years, the master's for 2 years, and let's say that it takes another 4 years to do the PhD. And they're going to start off somewhere around 95,000. And we'll copy their salary down, incrementing by 3%. Now what we can do is simply look at these salaries as a function of time here, as a function of age. So here's a plot for what these salaries will look like over time. So you can see in blue is the high school diploma, in orange is a bachelor's degree, in gray is a master's degree, and then in yellow is the PhD. And these are all increasing at 3%. Okay, but what this neglects is the net worth, because obviously the master's student might have started at a higher salary than either the high school or the bachelor's student, but the high school and the bachelor's student have been earning money the last few years. So what's the net worth? So let's compute the net worth over here. The way we're going to do that is we're going to say the first year is just equal to whatever the salary was, and and then the next year it's going to be equal to whatever their salary was that previous year plus their current salary. And so we can copy that down now until they are 65, and we can also copy over and look at each of these. So okay, so this is the net worth, and we'll just look at that as a function of their age again. So this is a pretty simple spreadsheet, and of course you could do something more complicated if you wanted to factor in student debt and different things like that. which in my experience in engineering, usually you can graduate somewhere near to debt-free, depending on how you use your summers and things. So anyway, there's a lot of variables we're not including here, but this is just a basic idea of salaries. So here's the net worth. We see the high school student starts off with the highest net worth. It takes a bachelor's student somewhere around the age of 36 to catch up there. At the same time, the master's student actually also caught up to the net worth and passes up both of them. And then the PhD student, it actually takes until they're in their 40s to recover the net worth of the bachelor's and high school diploma student. And it actually takes them until they're in their 60s to catch up to the net worth of the master's student. So from this perspective, the PhD is somewhat of a hard sell financially. In my opinion, a master's degree is almost a no-brainer for people in engineering. From the type of work you get to do to also the type of money that you can make, the master's student affords a lot of opportunity. Now, the PhD is a little special because it specializes you a little bit and opens up different doors, but on the financial side, it may not be as beneficial, and that really depends though. Another thing we're overlooking here is opportunities for advancement. If you look into these organizations of some of the big aerospace companies, for example, Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop, or into NASA or the Air Force Research Lab, places like this, their leadership is often, they often have higher degrees, master's or PhD degrees. And so that's one thing that we're not accounting for here, is that there can be some significant bumps here. For example, I'm in academia, and so I'm on kind of this yellow trajectory here. But as I move up in the ranks, so right now I'm an assistant professor. Once I become an associate professor, and that takes about 6 years, then my salary actually increases by about 15%. And then if I become a full professor, then it will take another 15% bump. And so those types of bumps are not included in here, and they're more common for master's and PhD students. So they generally have more opportunity for advancement, for leadership type roles that are going to come with a significant increase in salary. So that's one thing that's not included here, which really would just add to the difference, or really add to the case for going on for more education if you're interested in the financial side of it. Now again, this is a very simplified spreadsheet, and you can build your own spreadsheet very quickly and look at different numbers, different starting salaries, different amounts of time in school, and maybe you actually were making money while you were working on your bachelor's or master's. Maybe you want to include student debt. There's a lot of different things you can look at here, but what I'm trying to encourage you to do is simply take the time to build a spreadsheet like this. Just take the time to look at what types of salaries you can expect over the course of your career and what your net worth will be if you stay on this trajectory.